Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk gaming and why in general I believe gaming is dead. Now, I know what you're saying. That is a big statement. What's your evidence to back that up? Gaming is obviously more profitable than ever. How can you say such a thing? Well, it depends how you look at it. If you're looking at it in terms of profits and overall user base, it's better than ever. It's in a great state. But in terms of legendary games that will live on generation after generation, I believe gaming is dead. I mean, let's look at something that the gaming industry has been doing a lot in recent years. Remasters. Now obviously this is the insane trilogy Crash Bandicoot through Activision. And was it Vicarious Visions? It was Vicarious Visions. So you have a remaster like Crash Bandicoot. A lot of people will be saying, yes, that is great. We love the Insane Trilogy. Definitely runs great on any platform you put it on. And yes, it's a great experience. But when you say, oh, the Insane Trilogy, this doesn't hold a candle to something like the original Crash Bandicoot, which a long time ago I threw out the cover for this. So, hey, a lot of us gamers didn't know these things were going to be collectible one day. We just kind of wanted to shrink our collections down and put in binders. So this is the original Crash Bandicoot. I would say the Insane Trilogy is definitely a good way to play Crash, but it in no way is better than the original. The original is on a different level. This is legendary level. This is really good too. This is a way for a modern gamer to experience Crash Bandicoot. But there were little things in the remaster for Crash Bandicoot that just didn't translate well, such as they made the game overall easier, like the first Crash Bandicoot. So what happened is when you died in the original Crash Bandicoot, you had to restart the whole level to get the gemstone at the end. Now in the Insane Trilogy, that was fixed. That was, oh, you just have to complete the level, and if you spin the checkpoints, you're fine. As long as it's not a coloured gem, then you would have to restart the whole level again, obviously. But stuff like that, like the original game was a lot harder, and I feel like, yes, they have fixed it, and for a lot of modern gamers, it is better for them to play that way. But for me, it's just not the way. And what happens when remasters don't do justice to the original games? Like, obviously, we had this monstrosity. And look, Rockstar will stand by this. I'm sure Rockstar were happy with this. I'm sure they've done a lot of fixing to it now. I left this one in the plastic because I obviously started watching some YouTube videos and I was like, oh, I don't really want to open it. I don't want to go through the process of returning it either, but I only got this for a few bucks on sale, so I was like, you know what? I'll just keep it aside. Maybe they'll fix it one day. But that does not hold a candle. And these are the kind of binders I put them in. When I say binders, I mean stuff like this, CD suitcases. I'm sure a lot of you newer gamers probably haven't seen these things before, but yeah. One of the greatest games of all time, like San Andreas, there's the original disc there. They've just kind of like completely ruined that in here with like, by trying to redo the animations, by trying to make it look modern. And it just doesn't look modern. It's a product of its time. So obviously remasters, it depends which one you're playing, but most remasters, some get it right, some get it wrong. But what happens when remasters just won't let it go? And you just keep playing the same game over and over again, just with new graphics and gameplay. I mean, let's look at this. One of the greatest PlayStation games ever made. Most people would agree on that. One of the best PlayStation games ever made, suddenly they had this idea that they can just keep releasing this thing over and over again and just putting minor fixes. Now, I will say, the initial remaster was fantastic. This was like a perfected version of the PS3 version. Doesn't mean the PS3 version is bad. I like the PS3 version as well. I think that's the way to play it because it's the original intended version. But this one, if you've got a PS4 and this is all you have access to, this is a good way to play it because obviously backwards compatibility isn't a thing. If backwards compatibility was a thing, I would just say go back to PS3 and play it the original way it was intended. But then we get into this point now where they're still remastering PS3 era games to play on the modern consoles. mainly because these are legendary status, but instead of giving us backwards compatibility, they give us a new remaster. I've already got a remaster, and I've already got the original. Why can't I pop the original in the PlayStation and play it? It's because that's how they make money, and that's how they continue to market these games year after year. So, obviously, look, games have been released over and over again for many years. Sonic is still getting re-released over and over again with like Sonic Origins. That was released over and over again. So why do I feel so strongly that, hey, they shouldn't be remastering? Well, it's because by doing so, it kind of ruins the legacy of getting new games and continuing the legacy. I mean, if the team are focusing on remastering this for the new generation, that's probably what, a quarter of the Naughty Dog team putting their resources towards this and not thinking about number 3 or number 4 or Uncharted or something else. I mean, look, these games have been remastered many times as well in Uncharted 1, 2 and 3. They've been remastered heaps. But I should be able to put the original in my console and play the original as it was intended. Not the Nathan Drake collection, the original disc as it was intended. And the fact that we can't do that on modern consoles is kind of ruining it. The fact that I can't put GTA 4 in my PlayStation and play GTA 4 in any capacity. It's not even remastered. You can't play this game on PS5. Why can't I play this game on PS5? And people say emulation. PC gamers will tell you emulation has been done for many, many decades at this point. And the fact that we don't even have a game from 2008 running on the strongest hardware that they claim is stronger than everything they've ever done, come on. There's something wrong with that. And you look at stuff like wrestling games as well, because I'm a wrestling fan, as you can tell from Austin 316. You have games every year coming out with WWE, and they're just kind of like, meh. Like you have 2K20, you have 2K22, you have 2K21. They do these games every year. None of these games achieve legendary status. The last one I can remember being truly having a claim to be legendary status, or at least really good status, was WWE 13, where CM Punk was the cover star. That was the last, in my view, really, truly great WWE game release. And you might say, oh, graphics and everything like this. But I'm looking at overall playability and overall legendary status. Games that people will think of 20 years after the fact and say, yes, that game was awesome. That game is worth going back for. Or, hey, we should get a remaster of this. Or if you want to go GOAT status, here comes the pain. This game is on the same level as No Mercy in terms of the Nintendo 64. This is on the same level. This is one of the top 2 wrestling games of all time, depending who you ask. Obviously, some people will say 2007 in there, some people will say 2006. Some people will say Just Bring It is one of the best. But in terms of the storyline and in terms of what they were going for, a lot of wrestling fans will say Here Comes the Pain is the best. I can't play this on the PlayStation 5. And I think if you had the Xbox, I don't even think you can play it on the Xbox with backwards compatibility. So when I say modern gaming is dead, what I'm actually talking about is you can't go back and play older games. You have to wait for them to do remasters, and half the time you're getting the same game for 3 generations in a row. Bang, bang, bang. And they did the same thing with GTA 5 as well. We've got that 3 times already remastered. It's like, at what point do we stop saying, okay, can we just go back and play these in their original form? I've still got the disc on PS3. Can I just chuck in the PS3 disc? Can you just focus on emulation? So that they can, the development team for these games can say, okay, we've got the emulators out there. Let's put a new Last of Us out. Let's put a new Uncharted out. Let's focus on a new wrestling game that's truly legendary. Like if they said, okay, let's not put out a wrestling game for a couple of years now. I know Cody's on the cover of the new one, but let's not put out a wrestling game for a couple of years now. And let's focus on trying to build something as legendary as Here Comes the Pain. I have faith that companies can achieve such a thing. It's just a matter of they don't have time to do it because they're too focused on trying to do remasters and trying to do a yearly phone-in job of like, okay, just have the minorest, the bare minimum of upgrades to try to sell you on buying a new copy of a game. And then I don't even think you can buy this on the PlayStation Store anymore. Like, they've replaced it with the John Cena cover 23, and then they replaced it with that one, with the Cody Rhodes one, 24. It's like they just keep releasing these things, and games don't have a chance to go legendary anymore, like get the legendary status, like a Here Comes the Pain did. Or even like, let's see if I got it in my binder here. Let's see. I've got 2006 here, obviously. Great game. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Very legendary game. Where we found GMO for the first time. But you have games that you just go through these binders here. Like, I've got it in a binder because I threw out the cases. I made that stupid mistake decades ago and put them all in binders. I know this one's available on PS4 through the transfer. They've done a transfer of PS2 classics, and you could buy this for a while. I have it on my PS5, so that is available, The Warriors. But that doesn't mean the PS2 copy is bad. Like, you can still go back and play that. You can't play Vice City Stories, though. Another decent game, but, you know, definitely was a PSP originally game, and you can't play that now. Scarface, another great game. Really good game, definitely worth checking out. It's only available on PS2 or maybe the Xbox as well. Godfather, another good game. Like, I can just go through this game, all these games all day. Like, this is why we need backwards compatibility. One of the most legendary Spider-Man games, Spider-Man 2. You can't get that on the new consoles. The Sims, when I say The Sims, this was a great adaptation from from PC. Like, this was a great adaptation. You could play The Sims on your TV, and it was a really good transfer. Can't play that on the new console. They want you to play Sims 4. And yeah, I can just go through this catalogue of games all day. Like, even games like this, forgotten games like The Getaway, you cannot get this on modern consoles. But when I say gaming is dead, what I'm actually talking about is that as an experience, as something where it's like, oh, nostalgia, it can appeal to your nostalgia. It can't appeal to your nostalgia because half these games won't even work on the new consoles. And yes, you can go back and play them on older consoles, but, I mean, when's the last time you could say we got a truly legendary game solely based on the PS5? You could say Ghost of Tsushima, but that was released on the PS4, you know? It's like we haven't had a truly legendary game of this generation, other than maybe Spider-Man. And I think Horizon was developed for the PS4 as well. It was PS5, PS4 dual release. But a standalone, like Tekken 3, for example, great game. Why can't I play that on the PS5? I mean, I can play Tekken 2, but if they got Tekken 2 working, why can't they get Tekken 3 working? There are just so many good games. Gran Turismo, you know? Ridge Racer, like, where are all these games? Spyro. I mean, Spyro's got the remaster as well, but if I want to throw this game into my console, I should be allowed to. And this is what I'm talking about. I think gaming is at a point now where they either need to give us emulation or become irrelevant. At least the gamers. I mean, look, we're getting lots of games, and some gamers will say, oh, but we just want to play Call of Duty. We're fine with that. But in terms of what I believe emulation is needed in the gaming industry right now, and I believe Sony needs to do it. Xbox is definitely doing. Nintendo just kind of do their own thing, but I think Nintendo are trying to. They've got that subscription service, and you could say PlayStation Plus are trying to do it. What I'm talking about is I should be able to put my disc in the console if I have a disc drive and play it that way. And if you agree, jump into my comments and tell me why you agree. Jump into my comments and tell me why you like. I believe we're not going to get a game like Here Comes the Pain, this legendary again, while we're still focusing on doing yearly releases of phone-in jobs. And I believe we're not going to get a truly great Last of Us game. This is why it takes 8 years to develop these things, why they're still developing a game that was based in the PS3. So yeah, That's just my thoughts. If you feel the same, jump in my comments, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.